KLWG Jewellery channel. Welcome subscribers, new subscribers and people who just popped in to watch. If you could please like, comment, share and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I release new videos or go live. I will be grateful. Today we're going to be making a pair of earrings with the fabulous Flamingo kit from Softflex company. So today, as I said, we're going to be making a pair of earrings. We're going to be using 10 OC beads, but you can use 11O as well. So we're using the finding from the kit, which is this little finding. Right, I'm using a range of colours, which you can use any range of colours that you like, but I'm using 3 different colour seed beads. I'm also using the pearl from the kit at the top of the earring, and I'm using one of the earring findings from the kit in silver, and I'm also using some 0.5 artistic wire. So before we start, I'm going to start a new tradition, right, for this channel, and I am going to open an inspiration quotes. Alright, so we're going to take one off the top, so one off the top of the deck, and it says, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. Oh, very prolific. The other thing you're going to need for this earring is either Fireline, Wildfire, something like that, in sort of a clear colour. Clear crystal, something like that. Right. What I've done is I've done 2 wingspans. So a wingspan is a full span of your arm. So I've done 2 of them. Right. I'm using a big eye needle. And a big eye needle, all that is it's a needle that opens up fully, but you can use a needle that's just got an eye in the top. We're going to be doing brick stitch. So what I'm going to do is I will show you the start of it, and I will do a couple up, and then I will carry on off camera, and when I get to here I will show you round the loop and then this side, then I will carry down. And when I get down to the bottom, I'll turn the camera back on again and show the start of the next side. And then do the same, turn the camera off and show and carry on up until we get to the loop, and I'll show you what to do at the loop. So, let's do the tying on. So to tie on, alright, you're gonna pull this through. And the quite on tail, I'd say, close to about 10 to 12 inches tail. You're going to tie it round. No offense, I'm not very good at tying this, because as I said, I'm blind as anything. So you're going to tie it around right next to the post of the leg, and then what you're going to do is we're going to tie it round the post of the leg. So we're going to go up and round. So you're going to go through the loop, and you're going to hook through what you've just done. So you've basically hooked round the leg, and you're going to pull down. So basically it's hooked round and down. So it should tie round. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tie it round the leg, which is what seems to be doing at this moment in time. It does not want to tie round the leg. It's a little finicky to do actually. There we go, I've got it that time. So there we go. You want to hook it so it can't physically shift up. You have to tighten a double knot after, so it really doesn't shift. Tighten a double knot after, so it can't shift up. Right, so now you've done that, time to start beading. Right, you can hold onto the tail. You want to get a seed bead, put it all the way down, and it's down at quite a long bit of cord, so you want to pull your cord down. You want to hold your seed bead, you want to go through, your loop, especially without catching on everything on your table. And I've got to keep trying to get my camera to stay on, otherwise my phone will actually go flat. So now you've got it like that, go up through the seed bead, and pull everything through. And there's your first one on your tail, which was actually meant to be 2. I was meant to do a 2 bead start, but oh well, we'll do a 1 bead start. I did start with a 2 bead start on my other one, but we're going to start with the 2 beads with a 1 bead start, since I started with a 1 bead start because I forgot. But you can start with a 1 bead start or a 2 bead start. Alright, try and keep your tail out the way, and again up and through. Hold your bead up, go up through your bead, and to be honest, doing a 1 bead start is actually a bit easier, because you haven't got to go back down through the bead and up through the next bead and back down and then come back up, because you're just doubling back on yourself. I'm lovely and hooked on my blanket because it's freezing in my flat at the moment. The video I'm going to release after this is the Wicked Brew Kit from Softflex. Then I'm going to release a couple other videos from this and from Bargain Bead Box. So I've got a couple more pieces from this kit, and I've got a couple of pieces of jewellery from Bargain Bead Box from July, which I'm sure you'll absolutely love. So as you can see, these just sit wrapped around this thicker bit, and then when you'll get to the narrower bit, they'll tighten up. Sorry about that, bumping you. So I've got my camera quite low, so you can really see what's going on. Which I'm going to zoom you in a bit, so you can hopefully see what I'm doing more. Just give me a sec, because I've just got a knot in me stuff, in me beading stuff, in me beading wire. And if you ever get a knot in your beading cord, don't just tug it. Gently pull your knot out. Use your needle if you have to unpick your knot. Right, because you do not want to really tighten a knot in your beading cord, because it's a nightmare to get out. As you can see, I've got myself mixed up which direction I'm going. I usually work with a darker cord, so I'm really not used to working with the light one. So now put it down tight. I really need to try and keep this tail out of the way. So as you can see, it's just laying down next to each other, as brick stitch does. So next bead, all the way down. Lay it down next to it, all the way through. Unhook off my beading mats. Then up through and pull through and tighten. And again. Now we're right on the edge of where we could drop off. So this one might drop off the edge, or it could just sit right on the edge. Right, as you've seen, that one's just dropped right off the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my needle before I do the next one and just lift this one back on, tighten it back up, and then go through this next one, which will probably sit off the edge. So I'm going to put it down. Very gently. I'm sorting out the one next to it, which again wants to fall right off the edge. This is a finicky piece to do when you get into the edge of that, right on the edge of that. Right, but also, as you can see, I've just hooked right round everything. It's a little finicky to do, but it's worth it in the end, as you saw by the piece I showed you at the beginning. There we go, got it sorted. So, as you can see, that next one has sat right off the edge. So now we just carry on. Do our next bead. Pull it down. Go through. All the way through. Making sure that one's sat on the top. And then go up. So just keep going like that until you complete it, until we get to the next bit, and then I'm going to come back when we get to the and I've just got tangled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the camera when we get to the loop. Alright, so I will come back and I will show you how we do the bit next to the loop. Okay, because I'm going to detangle what I've just got tangled in, and we will carry on when we get up here next to the loop, and I'll show you how we do round the loop and on the other side. So now we've got this bit done. This is how it should look. Well, actually, no, it shouldn't, because I've just realised what I've done. Because they should actually be further down. So what you can do, if they move up like these have done, you can use your needle to lift up your threads so that they actually stay on the wider metal bits. There we go. So this is how it should look. So you've got your threads on the wider metal bits, and then you've got your other beads on the smaller metal bits. And then you just bead all the way up to the loop, and we'll meet back at the loop. And I'll show you how we go around the loop. Okay? Right, time to put the last 2 beads on before the loop. So, through the loop. Once you get into a rhythm of putting your beads on, you'll find a way of doing this and not get your wires tangled. So all I'm doing is I'm laying it flat. Sorry, bouncing you about. Laying you flat, holding my bead, putting my cord through, and then just pulling my bead down so it sits flat. So as you can see with this, it moves back and forth, the beading does. It's flexible. So it's always going to be a flexible design. So we've gone round the hoop, we've got our bead, we just need to go up our last bead before we can fix going round the hoop. Now going round the hoop involves beading, looping round the frame. And again, I've now just looped myself through my bead. I did this before when I was beading off camera. I looped through my bead instead of around my frame. So, through my frame, now through my bead. It's easy to do when you're trying to bead on camera instead of actually paying attention to what you're doing. Right, so there we go. Got all this one side done. So now what we're going to do... Oh, no. I haven't got all that one side done. So I'm going to go off camera a sec, because I think I've got a couple more beads I need to do. I've got like 4 or 5 beads I think I need to do. So let me settle this down a sec. I might have one bead left to do. This is the thing, when you're doing it, you've just got to situate it and keep seeing what beads you've got to add on. Because whereas it may look like at times you've got no beads to add on, and when you lie it flat, you've actually got another bead to add on. Right, that looks about fine now. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to loop round the frame. So we're going to pull the beading wires and the beading cord through. Hold it. Go up and through. So I'm hooked on something. Go up and through, and then we're going to, so we're now in totally the wrong place. You know, it'd be lovely if I could actually see what I was doing. Honestly, I swear about it, I can't see a bloody thing. I don't know if it's because of the lights or because I'm beading at such a distance away. But I'd love to be able to see what I was doing. Right. So now I'm going to bead from the back through the loop. Because all we're doing is we're creating a wrap round the bottom bar just here. So all we're doing is we're looping round there. And this should be the last loop that we need. Now, I'm going to pick up a bead. We're going to make sure all our beads are in place. We're going to come through, making sure the beads pulled all the way down. And we're just going to repeat what we did on the other side. And we're just going to go up and come down. We're just going to go up and through. This rabbit, it's not my day with these beads. I can do brick stitch so easy when I'm not on camera, but trying to teach it on camera, I can't do it. I don't know if it's nerves or what. So through the frame. I'm not used to doing brick stitch with a frame, I will admit that. Just unhooking this beading wire. It's a lot harder to bead this around this frame because it's got a lot to hook onto. So that's what you're doing. You're beading it and beading it onto the other side. So again, getting another bead. Around the frame. And through the beads. And pull. And down. That's all you're doing. Is you're just basically pulling it down the wire, down the beading wire, going through the frame, around the frame, and up, and then pulling the wire through. So it sits just like that. That's all you're doing. I'm going to bead down. And I'll meet you down here. When we get to the bottom, I'll do the last couple on the bottom, and then I'll show you how we're going to change bead. So now I've beaded down this entire side. I'm just going to do the last 2 on this bottom side, and then we'll change colour, and I'll show you how to brick stitch the actual beads on the next layer. So I'm just going to put this bead on, go through the finding and through the bead, and pull up. Put the last bead on this row. The reason I'm only showing you this like on the short version is it's a little bit boring watching someone sort of bead an entire finding, right? Because you don't want to sit there and see someone repeatedly, just do the same thing over and over again, because it just gets boring after a while. Right, so there we go. We've got that completed. So that's what it looks like when you've done the entirety around the edge. Alright, so now we're going on to this green that I've got, or whatever colour you have decided to use. As I was saying, you can use whatever colour you want. I'm using green. Again, 10 knots. Right. My apologies. You can do this on any type of finding. It doesn't have to be this same type of finding. But you can do it on almost any finding you want. So it just has to be a closed finding, so that the beads and the beading wire don't slip out. So again, slip a bead on, bring it all the way down, but this time what we're going to do, between the beads where you've been beading, there is a thread. So as you can see here where I've just captured it, alright, there's a little thread. You're going to go under that thread with your needle. You're going to pull your beading wire down, and it'll pop your bead up on top. You're going to go up through your bead, pull your bead and pull your beading wire through. And you're going to pop your bead up on top like that. And that's all you've got to do all the way up. So I'll do a few more just to show you till we get to the loop. So pull your bead down, making sure your tail's out the way. Go through the next thread path. Pull your beading wire down under the thread path so your bead pops up on top of it. Go up through the bead. Make sure I'm actually on camera, sorry. I do apologise about that. Trying to get this bead in position. Up through the bead and pull. And slot the bead into place. your next bead. Pull your bead down. Go under the next thread bridge. You might have to wiggle a bit. Sometimes go further down the bead, maybe underneath the bottom of the bead, so like right at the bottom. Pull. So your bead slots into place. Then go up through the bead. Making sure your tail doesn't get caught. Use your fingers to pull your tail out the way if you have to. Or your needle. In this case I'm going to use my needle just to hook my tail out the way and pull your bead into place. You can pull it up or down and just pull it, and then just use your fingers if you have to, because this is rather fiddly because of the way the beads move. Then again, next bead, put it all the way down, keeping the tail out the way, and the next thread pass. Next thread bridge. You have to turn it round to do this. Turn it round when you go up your bead. So go into your thread bridge one way, turn it round to go up the bead, and then turn it back round when you go to go back under your thread bridges. Put your bead on, pull your bead down, go under your thread bridge, wiggle it through where you can, pull it through. You have to turn the piece round to go up through the bead. That makes life easier for you. Do it that way. Make sure you don't tangle around your frame. And there you go. You've got your beads sitting on the top. So that's all you need to do the next bit. Just make sure your beads on the bottom, your threads don't slip off this thicker bit, because it will affect your bead pattern on the top. Okay? Like it's doing to mine at the moment. That's what I'm just trying to resolve. So just basically resolve your issues as you're going, and just keep beading up, and I'll meet you at the loop, because you've got to do a 2 bead through one thread bridge when you get to the loop at the top. So I will meet you up here to show you. Oh, sorry, I'm off camera. I'll meet you up here to show you what we've got to do before and what we've got to do on the loop when we get to here. So this is where we are now. Okay, so I will see you soon when we get to the top. To complete this last side and to go on to the next side, you need to put on one C bead, bring it down, go through the gap so you catch the thread bridge, pull it through, because on this thread bridge you are going to be putting 2 beads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on this one, and you're going to complete the same for the next row of beads, exactly the same thing. So I'm going to show you on this one, and then we are going to do the next row totally off camera, and I will meet you back here just to show you weaving in. So you've just gone under the thread bridge again. Alright, so you've got 2 beads under the same thread bridge, and you're going to go up through the bead and pull through. Alright, so you've got 2 right next to each other, so they come right up to the loop. Then you're going to wrap around the loop. Alright, so it connects to the loop. And this is exactly what you're going to do on the next strand. So when you do this second strand, this pink strand, or whatever colour you decide to use, that's exactly what you're going to do. So now we're going to go on to the other side. We're going to pick up a bead. We'll pick up 2 beads. We'll do it in a 2 bead start. So we'll do it the simple way. We'll go under the first thread bridge. Careful without catching your tail in there. Just give me a second. So now you've got your second bead in there. You go up through the first bead, up through the second bead, to secure it, down through the first bead, stabilise that one. And then back up through the second bead. And that stabilises it. What that'll do is that'll stabilise your two beads and give you your start. And then you just carry on like you did on your other side by carrying on, picking up a bead, pulling it down, and going through your next thread bridge. So through your next thread bridge, right, and up to the bead, and just carry on all the way down to the end, preferably without catching your tail in it. And just carry on that all the way down to the bottom. When we get down to the bottom, I'll show you going back up again. So what we do when we get to the top again. Okay? Time to put the last green bead on this side and start the next row, which is the pink row. Alright, so pull the green bead down and go under the thread bridge and pull your beading thread through. Go up through the bead. Right, so next it's just the same as the rest of them. Get your next bead. Oh, sorry about that, that's my other phone. I forgot to put it on silent, I do apologise. Alright, put the bead on. Go up through the bead and pull your cord through. And again, your next bead. Alright, put it down your beading thread and up through your thread bridge and up to your bead. So you just want to do that until you get to this loop up the top, and I'll meet you there just to show you what we do next day, which is basically the same as what we've been doing, what we did here before, but I will show you when we get there. So I will see you there. So now time to do the top. We've got one bead on. We're going to add 2 to this thread bridge. So we're going to put 1 through. Alright. So we're going to put 1 through, and then we're going to do the second one. And then we're going to wrap round the loop like we did on the previous row. So just exactly the same thing as the previous row. We're just going to do 2 through this thread bridge. Right, then we're going to wrap round the loop to pull it towards it. So you're going to have to pull quite tight with your thread to make sure it pulls towards. Then we're going to add 2 beads. And we're going through the first thread bridge. Right, we're going to go up the second bead, then we're going to go down the first bead, then we're going to go back up the second bead. Oh, sorry, send you flying as I'm pulling my thread through. I do apologise. And then we're just going to carry on beading until we get to the bottom. So under the thread bridge of the next one, and up through the bead, and just carry on doing that until we get to the end. Okay, and I'll meet you back at the end for weaving in. I'm going to show you how to start weaving in. All you have to do is go through a couple of beads. So just work your way through your bead, right, just to get yourself a hold on the beads. You can also catch a thread bridge with your needle, pull a small loop and pull the loop down, and then make sure you go through the next bead up. Right, you can do that just the once and go up the next bead. Right, get your thread bridge again and go through, and catch on it and go down your next bead. As long as you go down one bead after your thread bridge, then you're fine, and then you can cut it off. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to add our pearl. So you want to grab your round nose pliers, right, you want to bend your wire, right, so you want to bend it over 90-degree angle. You want to come in towards the end of your pliers, up and over, turn your pliers top to bottom barrel, right, so you've got a loop. Slip that on to your loop, alright, just wiggle your beads out the way. If you have to, open your loop a bit and just wiggle your wire in so that your loop goes on. Right, then get your bent chain nose pliers, hold your loop, right, and wrap. Helps if you hold it in your non-dominant hand and wrap with your dominant hand. Alright, you want to do 2 or 3 wraps just to secure it. I'm not the best at wire wrapping, and this is an awkward place to wire wrap. Right, so you just want to secure it, cut it off your excess wire. If you think you can get an eye pin in, do, because that might be a little easier for you. Taper down your wire. So you've got no sharp bits. And on your pearl. Right, then you want to do your wire wraps so they're going across, so they're going the same way as your pendant. Then you want to do a smaller loop, so up and over, turn barrel bottom to top and pull under. Hold it with your bent chain nose pliers. Oh, I know what I did want to do. I wanted to do a double barrel here, a double loop. So flip your loop under and pull round. The reason I wanted to do a double loop is because it's a thinner wire gauge, right? And then wrap round and down, and then wrap back up to give it a bit of a chunky monkey wrap, and cut it off. Right. Make sure you push your wire in so you've got none sticking out. Get your ear wire. Put your ear wire through the loop and push that in. And there we go. We've got a pair of colourful rainbow flamingo earrings. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you could please like, comment, share and subscribe and hit the notification bell, I would be grateful. And thank you for watching today, and I'll see you again soon in our next video. Bye for now.